What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another segment of HR Heretics. So Kelli and I just finished a hate segment on engagement surveys. And as
Strong
part of
word.
that,
That's a strong word.
yes, intentional. So as part of that segment, Kelli said something in passing, which was like, oh, I hate engagement surveys like I hate exit interviews. And I was like, what? So Kelli, explain yourself, girl. You don't like exit interviews?
I want folks to disagree with me here. I know you will. I have had experiences my whole career, and maybe it was the way I was trained, where exit interviews were a necessary performative checkbox to hear feedback around, what folks experienced, etc., when they're exiting a company.
Yeah.
And I felt like for the most part, I'm generalizing, okay? Nolan, I'm generalizing. For the most part, it was performative. It was a checkbox, and it wasn't really true for a lot of the same reasons we talked about with engagement surveys, where folks were afraid to tell the truth.
Okay. So why would they be afraid in an exit interview to tell the truth? Because my experience has been literally the opposite.
Okay, so the experiences I've had is that they are going to get blackballed. They're not going to be rechecked for hire. There's some like hidden folder or notes on this person where they're going to be back channeled and they're not going to get the next job because they're talking bad about this person or their former boss or job. There's a whole conspiracy on it around this. And it's probably true in some cases, right? Like I'm sure some people have been burned by this. And I'm usually, that HR person where it's like, tell me anything. I'm not gonna, like, I'm the vault. And they're like, I'm not gonna tell you what I think. I'll tell other people. So that's been my experience, Nolan. And maybe it was a corporate kind of upbringing kind of thing, but it just seemed very, again, checkbox, corporate, and people just saw it as something to just get through. And that's where I always told founders and CEOs, I'm like, the real exit interview is, again, those conversations that those people have with their peer, their manager, maybe their people partner, if they trust them. Like the conversations you're having with that person, maybe weeks, months, who knows?
Yeah.
Up until they resign. That's the real reason. And those are the things that you can take action on and shift in an organization.
Yeah.
Versus the complaints that come out or everything was great. I just think it's more common than you think. People are like, I'm not saying shit my exit interview because I'm scared.
Okay. So we're fully aligned on this. So the way that I've done it historically is not, I hear what you're saying, which is basically the way you've seen it is execs get like a executive summary on exit interview only. And that doesn't make any sense. Like the way I've done it in the past is exactly what you're describing, which is like, this is what was happening last quarter. And then this quarter, this is what this person was mentioning to their leader, to their HRBP. And here's what they said in the exit interview as another data point, as opposed to kind of like the only thing. I want to tell you a story though. And I have never told this story publicly that happened one time in an exit interview. So we terminated an employee and for performance reasons.
Yep.
And someone on my team did the exit interview and they came and grabbed me immediately after. And they were like, Nolan, I need to tell you about this right away. And I was like, okay, what happened? And this person was like, well, what the terminated employee said to the HR person on my team was, yeah, they're telling you they're terminating me for performance reasons. The actual reason that they're terminating me is because they only want to be around other people that they do illicit drugs with.
Wow.
So we ended up running a gigantic investigation.
Yeah.
And it was true. And so we had to like go through this whole thing. So I feel like that was a situation, like, why did that person tell us that? one, they were super pissed. And it, like, when you're getting termed for performance, by the way, people like, you're already having the negative blackball or what, you're never getting hired back again. So it already kind of like validates the things that you're saying,
Yeah.
which is when you're terminating somebody for performance reasons, like they're not coming back anyways. So that's probably true. I think the other thing that was true is that my team had a ton of trust inside of the organization of like, you could tell us anything and like, there won't be anything vindictive, but I think that's going away, right? I don't think that's a real thing to hang your hat on anymore. It's like ultimately HR does work for the company. But yeah, we learned that, and we would not have learned that. I don't even know how it would have ever come out without that information.
I mean, that's a great story. I agree with you. And I bet you can count on one of your hands how many times that's happened, right? So I do consider that to be kind of an anomaly. I guess I'm used to teams that are actually trusted in the organization. You can believe that. And I just feel like if you're learning for the first time what the hell's going wrong inside organizations through an exit interview, you're just not doing your job. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I guess it's just it's a belief I have that if you're going to drive the right change in the company, and the organization, you're in one way or another, you're diagnosing this, you're getting this feedback. I'm not saying that exit interviews are terrible. I'm not saying we should not do them. I'm just saying that we shouldn't rely on them for organizational diagnostics.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's one data point, right? As we should be thinking about all these things. One data point. Somebody in my LinkedIn post, Kelly, was like, where can employees go to have like a neutral person to discuss, right? If they can't do the exit interview, they can't do the engagement survey, like where is the neutral thing? And my belief is like, I don't think it exists.
I don't think that exists either. What they will do is informally talk to peers. I mean, right? I mean, all their close friends already know why they're leaving. And again, I think if you're partnering closely as a trusted peer in the organization, you're getting that information, right? Like I'm telling the CEO things that are kind of, filtered, of course, but I'm telling them things that are going on before this person even resigns, usually. Not in a way to like, extract or not keep things confidential, but that's a big part of it. Now, exit interviews are still, you might get nuggets of information, Nolan. You might get something that's helpful. I'm just saying, I believe that more times than not, you're not really getting anything new or different.
Agreed. You bring up another really interesting kind of like one of these like throwaway comments, which is like, like I filter that.
What do you mean throwaway comment?
I mean, you're saying it as making another point, but there's something really interesting there, which is like, we haven't talked at all about that's an art part of the job, right? Which is what the best people in this role are doing is taking these different data points and sound bites and being able to then use those to predict the future for the rest of the executive team.
Yes. That is very well said. And another reason that I just don't like exit interviews alone on their face, because they don't tell a systematic, well-integrated story from many different angles. It's one data point, lagging indicator on the way out, may or not be true. Right? You have to take these things all the time, and you gain trust by telling these folks, like, listen, my job is not to be like, well, Jane said that and this and that. That is someone that should be fired, right? The job is to be a vault and systematically filter and connect things and use judgment whether these things are one-off or not. And that is a differentiator that AI can't do that yet, man.
No, AI can't do it. I'm just wondering if HR should be. It's such a delicate dance, because anybody who's listening to the show that has worn an HR leadership hat knows exactly the conversation that Kelly and I are having right now. And deciding what to share and not to share is a very delicate dance. And the more I'm thinking about it right now, the more I'm like, I don't know if HR is the best to have this conversation with, as opposed to the functional business leader.
Hey everyone, we'll be right back in a moment after a word from our sponsors. Your workforce is your organization's greatest strength and often its largest single expense. But without the right tools, understanding where your workforce spend is going or how it impacts your bottom line can be a challenge. That's where Planful comes in. With Planful, HR and finance teams get the clarity they need to make smarter workforce decisions, gain real-time visibility into workforce fluctuations, forecast with confidence, and adjust talent acquisition plans collaboratively based on costs today and into the future. No more guesswork, just data-driven insights to help you plan with accuracy. And the best part, Planful is fast and easy to implement, so you can be up and running in weeks, not months, with minimal IT support. Plus, as your company grows, Planful grows with you, providing endless runway for strategic workforce planning at any scale. Ready to take your workforce planning to the next level? Join over 1,500 organizations already using Planful. Visit planful.com/heretics to learn more.
I must admit, I used to believe that AI didn't actually exist in recruiting or HR. That is until my friend Heather Doche, who leads talent at Signalfire, told me to check out Metaview. I got into the product and was like, wow, AI actually does exist in recruiting, and this product is sick. Metaview is the world's #1 AI scribe built specifically for recruiting. Their AI records and transcribes hiring conversations, like intakes, interviews, and debriefs, then provides perfectly summarized notes of everything that was discussed. I've seen firsthand how tough it can be to extract consistently high-quality data from candidate conversations. I've been in debriefs where interviewers told us about their feelings instead of what actually happened in the interview. And I've seen VPs and CEOs block hires because they didn't learn anything from skeleton scorecards. Metaview changes everything. With perfect notes from every conversation, your people can focus on creating a human connection with candidates, and they can save time on the busy work of cleaning up notes after every interview. But it's so much more than just a time saver, because perfect notes means perfect data. For every candidate and every pipeline, hiring teams can make confident, informed decisions, and talent leaders can finally take control of the interview process. Metaview covers all your compliance needs, works with all your existing tools, and takes less than 3 minutes to set up. Join talent leaders at organizations like Brex, Deel, HelloFresh, and Quora, and check out Metaview. Head over to metaview.ai/heretics to talk to one of Metaview's product experts. Tell them that me and Kelly sent you. Or you could just go to their website and get started for free. You'll be up, running, and AI-enabled in minutes.
But ideally, it's both, Nolan. Like, this is where this is so interesting, because people leaders now, we talk, right? Panels are all the time. What's the future people leader? The future people leader is a business leader. They are literally connecting this stuff with what's going on in the business and talking about them together. So in my utopian world, they're interchangeable.
So you're holding a revenue number in your utopian world.
Well, I have held a revenue number before.
I agree. That's why I'm using the example. Is like, I hear what you're saying. It's just I don't think it plays out that way, right? And I think this is where this is really where I think there's a lot of like I feel the stick bending, and I think it's gonna snap. And this is why like people are super pissed, is because like, well, somebody told Kelly about this, but we trust Kelly's judgment. She's been in the game for 20 years. She's seen everything, but the discretion on that is so delicate, and there's no way you're going to get it right 100% of the time.
The discretion is delicate. There's no way 100% of the time, but this is where you have to be really careful who you hire in these roles, because they know that. Like, I know that I'm not going to run around and say, oh, and fire this off with one data point. Like, it's an art, and it takes time, and it takes judgment, and you have to be aware of all these things. But if you're good at it and you can do it in the right way and you're using the right level of judgment and how you think about things and talk about things and talk to leaders and CEOs about it, I do believe that you can impact the top and bottom line of the business through these conversations.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, and I've seen it done well, and like I know you do this well. I think I do it. I think I do it pretty well too. But it's like I hadn't thought about it from this angle of like I just don't know. You're never gonna, given that we both agree, you're never going to get it right 100% of the time, right? If we were to talk to a founder and invite a founder into this conversation and explain this to them, I have a feeling what they would say is like I'd rather not have this person in the organization. I'd rather just have a functional business leader solving these problems because ultimately they're the throat to choke.
A lot of them cannot see or solve these problems on their own.
But what does that mean? Like, does that mean that they're not capable of having
No,
difficult conversations or
some are
not?
not.
They don't care.
Some are not capable. Some don't care. Some can't see it because they don't have the organizational capabilities or skill sets to do that.
Yeah.
A lot of
To me,
these
it feels
leaders
like
have extremely unhealthy organizations and they're just trotting along and they need help.
I'm with you, but to me, it feels kind of like okay, so we're the babysitter on this stuff and like holding, like it's like the person underneath the boat, like, trying to plug all the holes. It's like, isn't that the captain's job?
That's funny. I don't view it as underneath the boat plugging the holes, but I do view it as in the back of the boat moving the rudder if it needs to be moved.
Yeah, man, this is
It is.
philosophically, I think this is
But
such an interesting
ultimately, like,
philosophical discussion.
it really is. And ultimately, like, throw the titles out, Nolan.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it comes down to the person, their leadership style, who they are, their chemistry with the leaders of the organization. Like, ultimately, it's not really a title thing. It's a person thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What you said in our
But
last segment, was like everything's being rethought from first principles, right?
yes,
And this is exactly something that should have intentionality about how it's rolled out at companies because I right now it's just this is how we've always done it. Employee has a complaint, they go to HR, right? Like that's how it's all, and then HR essentially serves as a filter to what gets back to either the business leader and or CEO and or insert legal whatever.
totally.
I think that's going to be rethought and be way more intentional in the future.
Yeah. So just to close this out, irrespective of where you fall on this, and I love where the conversation went, you can see now, unpacking my brain a bit more of this, why I just dislike the robotic, predictive, performative nature of exit interviews. I just think it's
Yeah.
completely incomplete. That's a double
Yep.
whammy.
I
Completely.
actually like that. Completely incomplete. I'm going to use
Yeah.
that. Love that. All right. Thanks, homies. Peace. HR Heretics is a podcast from Turpentine, the network behind Econ 102, Moment of Zen, and Turpentine VC. Subscribe, 5 stars, share it on Apple, YouTube, Spotify, anywhere you get your podcasts, all the things.